which form you have filled for this terrific batting form?
Which form have you filled? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say to that. No, look, I'm just happy where everything's at the moment. I guess preparation's been key. I'm doing the same thing over and over again and trying to start my innings the same every time, and it's working at the moment and hopefully continues to do that on Sunday.
Mike, congratulations on getting foot in the door in the finals.
I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, sorry. Steve, Mike, congrats on getting into the finals. You're facing New Zealand, obviously, and the last one in New Zealand didn't go your way, although it was a close encounter. New Zealand are unbeaten so far. You think the fact that you're playing in the G, home advantage, will that slightly play into your favour? Different conditions?
I think the fact that the conditions are different will certainly help us. And we've played a fair bit of cricket throughout the summer at the MCG as well. So conditions are a lot different to what New Zealand have been playing in New Zealand. But in saying that, I think we're going to have to play our best cricket. There's no doubt about it. I said that before this game, that we have to beat our best to beat very good opposition. New Zealand have been the form team of the competition. Certainly deserve to be in the final, and yeah, we're going to have to, like I say, beat our best to beat them.
Chris, in the corner.
Michael, just on that same tone, how big a deal for you is it that it's New Zealand in the final? I suppose, you know, trans-Tasman rivalry in other sports, etc., and co-hosting the World Cup. Is it extra special, I suppose?
I don't think it matters too much to us who we were going to play in the final. I think, like I say, New Zealand deserve a lot of credit. They've been the form team of the tournament. But I don't think it bothers us too much about who we had to play. It was our priority and our goal was to get into the final first and foremost. And it happens to be New Zealand. So, yeah, look, I think there's always that great rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. I think the fact that the two hosting nations are in the final is extremely special. I think there's a great mutual respect between both teams. I think, you know, Australia and New Zealand on and off the cricket field have a wonderful relationship. I think both countries do. I think we've seen that over a number of years, and the cricket teams are no different. Once we walk out onto that field, we know it's going to be an extremely tough battle, and we're going to be up for that. But off the field, you know, both teams get on really well.
With only 2 days recovery, are you confident physically that you'll be okay for the final?
Me? I'll be fine. Yeah, look, obviously we haven't got much time, and recovery will be our goal and our focus over the next 2 days. We'll have training on Saturday, but I think that'll be selected players and optional. I don't think our bowlers will do too much. Smitty probably doesn't need to hit too many balls, although he probably will. But yeah, recovery's what's important now. We fly, I think our flight's in the morning, so blokes will recover tonight. Blokes will recover when we land in Melbourne. I think physical recovery is the most important thing for us right now. I think mentally the team is ready for this final. If the game was today or the game was tomorrow, I think we're ready mentally. We've been building up throughout this tournament to get this opportunity to play a World Cup final. So I'm not concerned there. It's just making sure the guys can recover as well as we can from this tough game.
And just on Steve's promotion up to 3, is it the best call you've made this tournament?
I thought that referral was pretty good. I think he's made the most of his opportunity. I can't speak highly enough for the way he's batting at the moment. He's showing his class. But most importantly, I think the one thing I've learned through my career is, you know, getting into good form and scoring runs is a fantastic feeling. But still to go to training the next day to work on your game, to try and become better, it's one of the hardest things to do in this game, but that's what makes you a great player. And I think that's what I'm being really proud with Smitty with is, you know, he's still training extremely hard, still getting there early, still doing the work even though he's batting so well, and I can't say I'm surprised that he's getting the results he's getting. He's earned it. And I think there's no doubt there's a long, long way to go in his career. There's a lot more runs for him to score, but he's certainly leading the way at the moment. He's standing up and he's made the most of the opportunity he's got at number 3 in one-day cricket. He was ready for it. He's been ready for it for a while. It was just about getting that chance. And Test cricket's no different. He's ready for that as well if he gets the opportunity.
Stephen here.
2 things. First is, you think the Indian bowlers bowled exactly to your strength for most part of the innings that you were there? I mean,
I don't think so. For me, it was just about giving myself an opportunity to get in, and I got a few freebies early on, a couple of short ones that probably weren't quite short enough, and I got a few boundaries away, and that really got my innings started. From there, I just tried to play each ball on its merits, and I was lucky enough to go at just over a run a ball, and it was nice to have a partnership there with Aaron Finch as well to set a foundation for us to go quite hard at the end.
When you won the toss and when you saw the pitch sitting in the dressing room and when you walked out to bat and actually played, was there any difference in the conditions?
No, I thought it was a pretty similar wicket to the one we played here against Sri Lanka, to be honest. It felt the same, and yeah, look, it was just about summing that up quickly and going out and playing to the conditions. And I thought 327, about where we got there, was quite par, and the bowlers had to do a terrific job to get us over the line, and they did that tonight.
What did both of you make of Aaron's innings today? Perhaps not a typical innings for him, and what does that mean for...
I think that's a real positive for Finchy and for the team. Don't be surprised if he walks out on Sunday and makes an unbelievable 100. I think that innings will do him the world of good. The fact that he spent the time in the middle, and I said that to him when he walked off, I think he was a little bit disappointed with the way he batted, or with the way it felt, but I think he did a fantastic job. And again, in any form of the game, the partnership is the most important part, not necessarily the individual score. And I thought the work he did with Smitty was exactly what we needed at that time. And I think that time in the middle will allow him on Sunday to walk out and play with freedom. Don't be surprised if he makes a big 100.
You saw him up close, Smithy. How was he going out there?
Yeah, he was all right. He got a little bit frustrated with a couple of shots that he played off the spinner where he couldn't get it through the gap. But look, I think as Michael said, it'll do him a world of good to have spent the time out in the middle. I think it's exactly what he needed, and he knows the MCG better than any of us. He plays his state cricket there, and we saw how well he played in the first match of the World Cup there against England. So hopefully some more of the same from him.
Michael, can you talk to us a bit about Mitchell Johnson, both the innings he played right at the back end of your batting innings and also to get Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma?
Yeah, two crucial wickets, the two big prize wickets, aren't they? I've always said Mitchell making runs gives him confidence with the ball. I think tonight was a good example of that. Mitch is Mitch. He's a class performer. Consistently, he probably hasn't had... the standout tournament that everybody expects of him all the time, because he's such a great performer. You expect him to take 5 wickets every time he walks out onto that field, but I think he's done a fantastic job for this team throughout this tournament. 2 crucial wickets, like I said, and I couldn't be prouder of our bowling unit in general. I think every single one of them, once again, under pressure, stood up. I think James Faulkner is a really good example of... didn't bowl as well as he would have liked in his first 3 overs, but the way he come back and turned it around shows his attitude, shows his discipline. Pressure situations you have to be able to execute, and at the moment our attack's doing that.
And just on Mitch again, he did step up though in a couple of months when you needed it to. You were on a bit of a downer at the back end of your innings.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He's a wicket taker. He's an X factor, but he's got experience under pressure now. So, dangerous weapon to have, and he's been the same his whole career. He's been exceptional. I love having him in the team. I love the fact, again, he's another example of someone that always puts the team first. He would love to open the bowling, but he knows it's best for the team at the moment that he bowls first change. Hasn't blinked once at it, doesn't bother him, and wants to win. And that's what's most important.
Steve, once you get set, you seem to rotate the strikes so easily. How do you go on about practicing it or training it, or does that just come through match practice?
I think it's just doing the same thing in the nets. We face bowlers so much in the nets. You have to try and get your angles right and try and, particularly for spinners, beating the fielders in close to get the ball down to long on or long off or out to deep square or deep point. Takes a lot of practice, obviously, and it's nice to be able to bat on a wicket like that where the ball's coming on so nicely and you can just play straight through the line.
Ben? Or Rob, sorry.
Michael, will you make a point of raising that collapse in Auckland with the team, or is that something that you dealt with at that time and there's no point sort of?
I think you've seen in the last few games that the way we've played, we've certainly improved in that area. I don't think we need to talk about it anymore. We'll talk about the New Zealand team once again, though. There's no doubt we'll study them. And we've been watching just about every game as well. Well, certainly myself and Buff have. So we know who we're up against. We know their strengths. We know their weaknesses. And we know they're at the top of their game at the moment, playing really good cricket.
And you had the 2 direct hits tonight. Darren Lehmann said before the tournament the best fielding team would go a long way to winning the World Cup. Do you think that might be the case in the final, that the batting and bowling of the 2 teams will cancel each other's out and fielding might decide it?
I've said that my whole career. Fielding is massive in any form of the game. At the moment, our fielding's exceptional. We dropped a couple of catches tonight. I wouldn't mind catching one of those high balls. But everyone else has been outstanding. So, yeah, look, you have to bat. Yeah, all 3 facets of the game you're going to have to do well to beat New Zealand in the final. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Michael, are you concerned that despite reaching the final, questions about your place haven't really gone away? And do you feel that the way the one-day game has moved, your batting style has become a bit redundant for the modern game now?
I think I'm doing all right. I think my record's pretty good. Up against anybody in the world, I think my record stands, holds its place. Yeah, I'm not concerned at all.
So Michael, did you think the 328 is enough? And at what stage in the Indian chase did you think that they're down?
I did think 320 was enough, but I thought our bowlers had to execute very well. India's batting lineup has been extremely successful throughout this tournament. They've got a lot of class, they've got experience in big games, in World Cups as well. So we had to, my opinion was we had to try and bowl India out. No matter how many runs we scored, we're going to try and bowl India out. So, yeah, but I think the boys did really well to make 320 odd. I think that was still a fantastic performance.
At what stage do you think that things are going good for you in the chase?
After the last wicket.
Michael, despite not winning that game in New Zealand, do you think you guys actually were the team that take the most confidence from that, the fact that you're almost able to defend 150?
I think New Zealand will take confidence that they've beaten us in the tournament. But I believe that was the turning point in this tournament for the Australian team. I think that gave us a bit of a kick up the backside. We knew we got a good look at, a very good team playing at the top of their game, certainly with the ball. And I think our attitude from that day has been exceptional. I think we've trained really well, we've prepared so well for every game. The boys have got out of bed every single day to try and become better. And I think you've seen that in our results. So I think we've been building, we've grabbed momentum and we've tried to run with it. We've been building, we've been improving every single game, and I think that'll hold us in really good stead for Sunday.
Michael, just here. Just bearing in mind what you've been saying about New Zealand in the last few minutes, I'm just wondering, you've obviously watched a lot of the games, maybe not all of New Zealand's games, but certainly a lot of them.
Yep.
Is there one box, if you had your objective hat on, is there one box that you would look at them and say, yep, they have ticked that well and truly? Is there one thing that they have done extremely well in your mind?
Yeah, I think their new ball bowling has been exceptional. I think we experienced that the game we played against them, and I think we've seen that throughout the tournament that they've been able to swing the ball in New Zealand. But even if it hasn't swung, they've executed, they've bowled good areas. So, yeah, we're going to have to make sure we bat well.